welcome back, everybody. It is another episode of the Succession Success podcast for the Q5 Experience, business succession planners, and the fifth quarter of your business. My name is Matt Derry, right here on the Empowering Futures Podcast and Network. On this podcast, we focus on business exit planning, talking to business owners, succession planning, and certainly guests can include just about everybody when it comes to business owners and what they do, and also some of the experts that we have on our team at the Q5 Experience. What is the Q5 Experience? Well, it's a collaboration of professionals that helps business owners really build transferable value and answers that question about what's next after they exit their business. We work with all sorts of business owners, certainly, and helping them really to take that next step with their business and their company before they exit and get them ready to sell as well. Entrepreneurs, we like to call them. You can get more information at q5experience.com. You also could be watching the show on our YouTube channel, which we appreciate as well. Our guest today, the guy I met down at Grand Rapids a little while ago, he's a new business owner. An opportunity on this show today to talk to somebody young that is starting up a business. His name is Joseph House, and he's the co-owner of Outlook Chiropractic Wellness down in Grand Rapids, and he joins me today. What's up, Joe?
How's it going, Matt? Thanks for having me.
Great to see you and to talk to you. You're just starting up. It's kind of cool. We're talking to a lot of business owners on this show and people that work with business owners like our Q5 team, but you and I connected at a Grand Rapids Chamber event, and I thought it'd be so nice to talk to somebody that's just starting their own business. How's that going so far?
Good. We just wrapped up our first month. Things are going well.
Tell me more, please.
So we opened up April 24th was our first day. And with a lot of small businesses just opening up, things take time to get rolling. So right now we're just trying to get our foundation set, get our systems established, get everybody trained and up to speed. We've got 3 of us here, myself being the only doctor, and then 2 team members, Sarah and Jess, and they're both exceptional. So they've been such a joy to work with. As far as patients coming in, it has been slow to start, but every week gets busier and busier, and we're steadily moving in the right direction.
How do you start a business? Well, give me the story as to how you and your wife, Kelly, just sort of decided this is what we want to do. And what, did you have any experience? Who did you lean on? Take us through that.
Yeah, so my chiropractic journey, if you will, started when I was in high school. I was 15 years old. I played football and baseball. Came home one day and told my mom, who was a nurse practitioner at the time, that my back was bothering me a little bit. So she got me set up with the chiropractor in town. And we hit it off. And after 2 or 3 visits, I felt great. And I thought, this might be something that I want to do. So at 15 years old, I kind of knew what career I wanted. And then that, kind of gave me a straight line to my career now. And I never looked back. So in chiropractic school, everybody wants to be their own boss. Everybody wants to own their own practice. You don't really get super far ahead at being an associate. Of course, there are some situations where you can, absolutely, but it's got to be the perfect situation. So I was an associate in my hometown at the office that I was a patient at growing up for 5 years. I met with a dentist who had kind of opened up an opportunity and sparked some interest in me to start my own practice, which of course is always the goal, but I was in a situation where I was hoping that I would become a partner. And after he had kind of introduced this idea to me, the wheels started turning a little bit, and we never looked back. So it all really started with a little push. We needed a little encouragement that, hey, you can do this. This is possible. And then it starts with a vision. You have to know what you want, and then you can start working in that direction.
Joseph, take me back to the sort of apprenticeship that you had for 5 years. Is that the normal kind of time frame in terms of, all right, I've been through this for 5, now I'm ready to do my own thing? Were you ready at 3? Was there financial concerns that went into it? How does that all work?
Always financial concerns. So out of school, there really are 3 avenues you can take. You can become an associate, where you're a paid employee. So I was on salary, and some owners will do more of a incentive-based pay, where you get the more patients you see, the more money you make. I was straight salary, so I was making the same amount whether I saw 10 patients or 100 patients in a week. And that didn't bother me at all. I just worked and got better at adjusting patients and being a doctor. Never really felt ready as far as becoming a business owner. I knew I could take care of people and I could help people. But starting your own business is scary. And chiropractic school does a great job of preparing you to be a doctor and preparing you to pass your boards, but they don't do a great job of teaching you how to be a business owner. So that's usually the school of hard knocks right there.
Yeah.
So you learn the wrong way a couple times, and then you figure out what works, and then you move forward from there.
Dr. Joseph House is our guest. Outlook Chiropractic Wellness in Grand Rapids. And he and his wife, Kelly, are running that right now. And as Joseph said, he didn't have a lot of business back. Did you take any business classes, Joe? How'd that go?
They give you very few business classes in chiropractic school, and none of it translates great into modern day business. So you try to, that's really what being an associate is about. If you have the vision to become a business owner one day, you have to be a sponge, and you have to ask questions, and you have to learn. You can't ever get stagnant, which translates great into health. You can't ever be stagnant with health either. So I try to just absorb as much knowledge on the business side of things as possible. To start, you gotta get good at what you do. You gotta be able to take care of patients, and you gotta be able to move bones and give people relief and improve quality of life. Only 14% of the population sees chiropractors, and that's on the high end. So there is so much room for the world to be healthier with what we do, and so many people don't realize they don't have to live with the pain and the issues that they're having. There is help out there that doesn't have to be drugs and surgery. There is a natural way to do things. So that's really what inspired me to be a chiropractor and what I really liked.
What's been the biggest challenge for you that maybe you didn't realize you needed to know?
Yeah, I would say the wheels started turning probably in May of 2022 about starting our own practice. And COVID had just kind of started winding down a little bit, and I started talking to some of my friends who had owned their own practice and have been extremely successful, and they've been extremely helpful. And once I really started asking the questions, I started to think to myself, I think we can do this. Mm-hmm. There's so many obstacles along the way. The first part, coming up with a business plan, it's hard to get lending when you don't have a plan set in place. Banks aren't just going to loan their money to anybody. 20, 30 years ago, bankers looked for chiropractors because they knew they were going to come out and want to start their own practice. They needed a big loan, and that they were pretty safe as far as paying back their loan. So coming out with a business plan, that was a struggle, but that was a project that we did in school. So I just had to fine tune that into this area and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to practice and how I was going to deliver. So that was an obstacle. Once we got through that, finding lending was probably the biggest stressor. They want a lot of money up front. They want projections. And as a new business owner, you really have no idea what your projections are going to be coming out of COVID. You always set the bar super high. But you have to be realistic with yourself too, that, you may not come out swinging for the fences. It's always good to have that mindset, but you may not come out doing great. You may struggle for a little bit. You may not draw a paycheck for a little while, and that's okay. You've got to get your foundation set and get to where you need to be and build things up. So that was time consuming. That was a frustrating process. Once we had lending approval, then it was finding a location. And I had an awesome realtor, Ryan Gillespie, over at Carr. They specialize with healthcare facilities. Met up with him. We looked at several places and found one, and my landlord was willing to work with me, and he has been awesome. So he helped with a lot of the construction and everything. And then once construction was done, then it was the nitty-gritty details of getting computers set up, getting tables, laying out the office, decorating, things like that I don't have the touch for that, but my wife is great with that. So we have a beautiful office thanks to her.
You're a chiropractor, not an interior designer, right, Dr. House?
Yeah, exactly. Our walls would be pretty bare. There'd probably be deer mounts and taxidermy all over the walls if it weren't for my wife. But no, she made it very aesthetically pleasing. So I'm very appreciative of that.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Joseph House is with us, Outlook Chiropractic Wellness. We're going to get into the nitty gritty, as he said, of what his business is all about and how Outlook is different from the competition. One more question about, obviously we're talking a lot on this podcast about exit planning. You're just starting, but I love the perspective that you're giving. How much have you thought about the future, if at all? You're, like I said, you're a month in, but do you get caught thinking about 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. We're shooting for the stars. The more people we can help, the healthier the world is going to be. Of course, you want to make money. You want to do that. Anybody would be lying if they said that money wasn't an objective or a goal. But how you make that money says more about you. So we want to make money, of course, but we want to do it by delivering an incredible service and being good people, and just leaving a positive impact on the world. So that's kind of our vision and our mission, is to help people as ethically as possible. Yeah, we don't want to work forever. We'd love to have children. We have 0 children right now. We got married back in October. So we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary here soon, and we love to travel. I have expensive hobbies. I like to golf. I like to hunt. I like to fish. We love to hike. We love the mountains. So we don't ever want to put a cap on our growth. We will grow as long as we will grow as long as the world will let us. So we help as many people as we can. And if we're running out of room for helping people, then we grow. Whether it be hire another associate to help treat patients for us, or multiple associates, or if we grow out of multiple associates and we need a bigger location, then we do that.
Joe House is with us, Outlook Chiropractic Wellness in Grand Rapids. And look, if you're on the west side of the state and you need a chiropractor, this is the man right here. He and his wife do a fantastic job. I want to talk about working. We talked a little about working on the business. Let's talk about working in the business and what Dr. House is doing. We'll do that coming up next right here on Succession Success, the Q5 Experience podcast. Stick with us.
As a business owner, have you ever thought about what it would look like to leave on your terms? In a business, there are too many moving parts to fully understand and implement a practical succession plan while at the same time living inside your own business. Your energy today is focused on running a great company. In the end, don't you want the highest value? Get to the next phase in life on your terms and leave an impactful legacy? We help with that. The Q5 Experience. We help take the I don't know out of what's next.
All right, back on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network, our Q5 Experience podcast today, Succession Success, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Dr. Joseph House is with us from Outlook Chiropractic Wellness, west side of the state. All right, so give us you get an elevator, Joe, and you got your shirt on with your logo, which for those watching on YouTube can see. Someone says, what's Outlook Chiropractic Wellness? What's your 10-second elevator pitch?
So we are a vitalistic chiropractic office. We don't necessarily focus on just pain management. The goal is to get patients out of pain, but we want to exceed that goal and improve their quality of life in ways that they have not experienced before. So chiropractic is just as much about prevention as it is about correction. So not only do we want to get patients out of pain, but we want to get them better long-term.
I love it. How do you do that? What's the secret to the sauce? What did you learn that you've put into the business here?
So we take patients in and do a full detailed consultation exam, x-rays if necessary, and then we do a foot leveler scan as well. So we can scan the arches of their feet to see if their feet are a contributing factor to their ankle, knee, hip, low back pain. A lot of patients come in with lingering low back pain. They get adjusted. It gets better. It comes back. They get adjusted. Same cycle. Then we start to wonder, maybe there's something down the lower extremity that's causing issues. We scan their feet and it tells us where the pressure points are on their feet, if their arches are rolling in or pronating or supinating, meaning they're walking on the outside of their feet. So we scan patients' feet for that. If it's necessary, then we will get them a pair of foot levelers, custom orthotics. And then we work from the ground up. We stabilize their foundation. Their pelvis is their foundation. If their pelvis is not sitting right, every step that they take is grinding joints. It's causing inflammation. It's training the body to be tight in certain areas that it shouldn't, and deficient in areas where they should have strength and stabilization. So first goal is to get the joints moving. The only way we do that is with the adjustment. That's the only thing that we can do to get those bones lined up and get those joints moving. And then once the joints are moving a little bit better and patients are starting to stay in their alignment, now we focus on rehab. We do a lot of neuromuscular re-education. So as we move the joints and the bones, we need to re-educate the brain to the joint and the nerve to the muscles. Right now, their brain and their body is used to being in this certain alignment that is not correct. As we make those changes, we need to re-educate the body so that the brain goes, hey, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Gotcha.
That's how we focus on wellness care, and we keep patients from having to come in multiple times per week forever.
What is the schedule? How does it usually work? And who is the typical patient?
So day one, we typically do detailed exam. That's when x-rays are taken. If x-rays are necessary, we will take them in the office, and then we will schedule them for a day two. It takes time to go over x-rays and diagnose everything and put together a specific treatment plan for each person. Everybody's different. So they would come back preferably the next day as soon as possible, where we can go over these issues and how we're going to fix them and how we're going to impact these patients' lives. Once we agree to a treatment plan, then we get to work. We start moving bones. We have had incredible success with headaches. Headaches are something that a lot of individuals suffer with, and they have no idea that chiropractic can help.
Wow.
There's a million different kinds of headaches, but the majority of them will drastically improve with chiropractic. Sometimes it's a recipe, and the adjustment's not the only thing. They may need to restore the curve in their neck, which is exactly what we focus on in the office. And they may need a supplement. They may need some stretches. Those are all things that we either provide in office or we make recommendations to them.
Dr. Joseph House, Outlook Chiropractic Wellness. He just talked a little bit about the patients. It's interesting. My background with sports and hosting the Lockdown Lions podcast and kind of following that team. I know a lot of the players. They're in that chiropractor office all of the time. Are you dealing with athletes, and why do they lean on you?
Absolutely. I mean, athletes, nobody's more tuned with their body than an athlete. They know if they're lifting weights and something doesn't feel symmetrical, it doesn't feel right. And they know that if they're not feeling 100%, they're not performing 100%. And patients don't have to be in pain to see chiropractic care. First thing that happens is this joint becomes misaligned. It becomes fixated, stuck, restricted. That doesn't always cause pain. However, if you keep operating on a stressed out joint, pain will follow, inflammation will follow. And athletes know that they have to be preventative about their bodies. Otherwise, these things compound and they cause issues. Most important thing for an athlete is performance. They can't perform if they're not on the field. Everybody in school wants to treat athletes. Every professional sports team has a chiropractor. And that's avocation enough right there that they know, these $1 million athletes, they know that this helps them. So why would it be any different for, a lady working at the grocery store or a dentist or an office or whatever it may be? Everybody with a spine should get it checked.
Why should they pick Outlook? Why? What's been, you obviously gave us the elevator pitch and everything else, but is there something that maybe you, your wife and the team at Outlook do differently, or did you take something from somewhere you worked before and definitely put it in your practice? How did that go?
Yeah, we customize everything for patients. Everybody's different. So we customize plans for patients that'll be specific for them. And we want to get them as healthy and functioning as optimally as possible. And I'm great at moving bones. It's what I do. It's what I love to do. And when patients come in, they know that they got an adjustment. It's not going to be a massage. We're moving a bone inside of your body. It's going to be sore. And patients leave here going, holy cow, yeah, he moved those bones and I can see how this would improve. And you have to deliver on results. And we do that. We know that we can help people.
I'm great at moving bones. I like that. When did you know you were great at it? When did it hit you like, I can do this, I can be successful, and Darn it, I can even run my own practice.
Yeah. So in chiropractic school, everybody's a little bit hesitant. You hear horror stories. You start to learn that the body is not as fragile as we think it is. Movies really hype it up that, you watch Arnold Schwarzenegger break somebody's neck, and somebody who's never been adjusted before thinks that's what's going to happen. Your body can handle so much more than you think. And that's what schooling really is about. It teaches you how to adjust, teaches you how to rule out red flags and make sure that this patient is safe to adjust. That's why we do a detailed exam. That's why x-rays come in, so that we know, hey, you are safe to adjust, and we know that we can help you. I'm not going to treat you if I don't think we can help you. So in chiropractic school, they talk about fake it till you make it. You're feeling somebody's spine and it feels like a neck. You don't know what you're really feeling for. As you learn the anatomy, as you learn the physiology, and as you learn chiropractic, you start to feel all the bony points of each bone, and you start to understand what you're feeling for and the goal and how you need to move that bone in the right direction. Personally, being an athlete was a huge advantage for me because you learn fast twitch muscle fibers. You learn how to quickly adjust. The faster the adjustment, the smoother it's going to go, rather than slow motion. So you need to move a bone quickly. It's all about finesse. Being an athlete was a huge advantage for that. And I learned very quickly, and I learned pretty quickly how the joints needed to move and how to adjust. And I like to think that I was a pretty good adjuster in chiropractic school, and that translated into practice very well. And practice makes perfect. You have to see a lot of spines. You have to feel a lot of people. So every break I was home, I was adjusting the kids in our family, my parents. So I was getting experience with all walks and ages. Nice. And that definitely helped develop my clinical skills and my adjusting skills that I have now.
What about your football career? Should we break that down?
Yeah, we can if we want. There's not too much to talk about there, but yeah, hey, I know I'm a sports guy. I pride myself in not being behind in the office, but the patients that get me behind are athletes, travel junkies, and outdoor adventurous. When they come in, I get talking, and I just resonate with those people.
I love it. All right. So where are you located? How do folks get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we are Northeast Grand Rapids on Northland Drive. Anybody that's in the Grand Rapids area is familiar with the restaurant The Score. We are directly across the street. We have a beautiful state-of-the-art office. We've done a lot of work on it to make it look as nice as it is. And we have a really nice view of a lake out back, so it can be very therapeutic and calming for patients. Our website is outlookchiro.com. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Call us, message us, email us, send a carrier pigeon. We are here to help people. we're very responsive. So if we can help you, we want to.
Outlook Chiro, CHIRO.com. That is Dr. Joseph House, who's been our guest today right here on Succession Success. Joe, great to see you and talk to you. Thanks for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was awesome seeing you again.
You got it. There he is, Dr. Joseph House, outlookchiro.com. And again, Facebook, Instagram, and just go to the website, just Google it. And they do a great job down in Grand Rapids. Building your business. We enjoyed talking to him right here on the Q5 Experience podcast, Succession Success on the Empowering Futures Podcast Network.